Multiple waves of severe weather are about to sweep across the United States, bringing with them a combination of dangerous conditions that we rarely see together. And I need you to understand something right now. This is not your typical January storm system. We are looking at record-breaking warmth that will clash violently with cold air, creating an environment primed for severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. At the same time, heavy snow will blanket portions of the country from Texas through the Midwest. By the time this system moves out on Sunday, over 250 temperature records will have been broken or tied. This is historic weather unfolding right before our eyes. Now, let me explain what is driving all of this, because understanding the why helps you appreciate the what. Our jet stream, that massive river of air flowing thousands of feet above our heads, is setting up in a very specific configuration. Think of the jet stream as the steering wheel for our weather patterns. Right now, it is dipping dramatically across the Rocky Mountains, and when it does that, it creates what meteorologists call a shortwave trough. This dip allows cold air from Canada to plunge southward while simultaneously pulling warm, moist air northward from the Gulf of Mexico. When these two air masses collide, explosive weather development occurs. Here is what makes this particular setup so dangerous. We have not one, but two storm systems that will merge and intensify. The first storm is already beginning to organize across Arizona as I speak to you today. This initial system will bring severe weather tonight into tomorrow across the southern plains and mid-Mississippi Valley. But the second storm, the one forming Thursday across the Rockies, this is the major player. When these two systems eventually come together, they will create a widespread impact event affecting millions of Americans from Friday through Saturday. Let me break down the timeline for you, day by day, so you know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. Today, Wednesday, conditions remain relatively quiet across most of the country. However, as we move into tonight, specifically around 3 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorms will begin firing across western Oklahoma and north-central Texas. Now, I want to emphasize this timing because it is important. These storms will not develop until the very early morning hours. You do not need to stay awake watching for them, but you absolutely must have multiple ways to receive weather alerts. Set your phone to wake you. Make sure your weather radio is on. Have a plan for waking up quickly if warnings are issued. By 5 to 6 in the morning on Thursday, these storms will track across central Oklahoma. The primary threats will be damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, quarter-size hail, and the possibility of a brief tornado. The tornado risk tonight is relatively low, but it cannot be completely ruled out. Thursday afternoon marks an escalation. Storms will begin developing again, this time in a corridor stretching from northeast Texas back towards St. Louis. The greatest threat for severe weather will come after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, I want to be honest with you about Thursday's setup. This is what we call a conditional severe weather threat. That means several factors need to come together perfectly for significant severe weather to occur. We have excellent wind shear, which helps storms rotate and potentially produce tornadoes. But we may lack sufficient instability, which is essentially the fuel that storms need to grow and become severe. If we can get any mature supercell thunderstorms to develop, the tornado threat becomes very real, especially between 6 and 8 o'clock Thursday evening. Areas from Dallas, Fort Worth through northeastern Texas and into Missouri near St. Louis need to be particularly alert during this window. Damaging winds will be the primary concern, with isolated large hail and a couple of tornadoes definitely possible. For those of you in the Midwest and Ohio Valley on Thursday, expect a rainy day. Iowa and Illinois will see widespread rainfall. We will be watching for a few storms to fire up during the mid to late afternoon hours, with the best chance for any severe weather occurring right around or just after sunset. Friday is when this system really shows its teeth. This is the day that concerns me most. We are looking at the possibility of significant severe weather primarily across the lower Mississippi Valley. If you live in southeast Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, or Alabama, Friday is your day to be on high alert. Let me explain what makes Friday so dangerous. We will have abundant moisture streaming northward from the Gulf of Mexico. We will have strong wind shear throughout the atmosphere, and we will have enough instability to fuel powerful thunderstorms. The challenge, and this is important to understand, is that we might see what is called overconvection. This means too many storms developing at once, which actually limits how organized individual storms can become. Think of it like too many cooks in the kitchen. However, if we see more discrete or separated storm activity Friday afternoon, particularly between 3 and 4 o'clock, we could witness a low-end tornado outbreak across the lower Mississippi Valley. This includes portions of East Texas north of Houston. Several supercell thunderstorms will likely attempt to form during this time frame. The tornado risk is real. The risk for damaging winds exceeding 70 miles per hour is real. Large hail, possibly golf ball size or larger, is possible. By Friday evening, storms will continue across Alabama and Mississippi, likely becoming a messy complex of thunderstorms that persists into the overnight hours. This raises significant flooding concerns anywhere from Huntsville, Alabama, back toward Lake Charles, Louisiana. Heavy rainfall rates combined with multiple rounds of storms could lead to flash flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. Saturday brings the winter side of this system into sharper focus. While isolated severe weather remains possible across Georgia, South Carolina, and even into Florida during the morning hours, snow becomes the dominant story. Light to moderate snow will drape across portions of the Midwest and Great Lakes. Cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, and Detroit could see accumulating snowfall. Some areas from Wisconsin through Michigan could receive 4 to 8 inches of snow with localized higher amounts possible. The Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma could also see snow on Saturday. Freezing rain is on the table for parts of Ontario. If you are unfamiliar with freezing rain, let me explain why this is so dangerous. Freezing rain occurs when rain falls through a shallow layer of below freezing air near the surface. The raindrops freeze on contact with any surface, creating a coating of ice. This ice can accumulate quickly, bringing down tree limbs and power lines. Just a quarter inch of ice accumulation can cause significant damage and widespread power outages. By Sunday and Monday, this storm system will be moving out, but we will have a significant dip in the jet stream remaining across the Great Lakes, Northern Plains, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. This will keep temperatures below average during the middle and end of next week. In fact, this pattern could set the stage for an Arctic blast arriving around the middle of January. Now, let me address something that many of you are probably thinking about: these record-breaking temperatures. By Thursday night, areas like Chicago, Indianapolis, and across the lower Mississippi Valley will be running as much as 40 degrees above average. 40 degrees, that is absolutely extraordinary for January. Friday morning will rank as one of the warmest January mornings on record for much of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. We are talking about morning temperatures in the mid to upper 50s across areas that would normally be in the 20s or 30s this time of year. Cincinnati will likely reach 57 degrees for a morning low temperature on Friday. That is 8 to 10 degrees above the previous record. At least 44 locations from South Texas back into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan will experience their warmest January 9th morning on record. By Saturday, the warmth shifts eastward. Maryland, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and South Carolina could see record-breaking temperatures before conditions return to more seasonal levels on Sunday. Here is what you need to understand about this temperature pattern. It is not just interesting weather trivia. This warmth is directly fueling the severe weather threat. Warm air holds more moisture. More moisture means more energy available for storms to tap into. The greater the temperature contrast between the warm air and the cold air rushing in behind the system, the more violent the weather can become. In Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, Scripture tells us, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it." This is practical wisdom speaking directly to our situation. God has given us the ability to see warnings and forecast dangerous weather. We have the technology, the knowledge, and the time to prepare. Ignoring these warnings is not faith, it is foolishness. True faith means trusting God while also taking the practical steps He has enabled us to take. So, let me give you specific, practical guidance on how to prepare for this weather event. First, if you live in any area where severe weather is forecast, review your severe weather safety plan today. Not tomorrow, today. Know where your safe place is in your home. The safest location during a tornado is in a basement, in an interior room on the lowest floor, away from windows. Put as many walls as possible between you and the outside. If you do not have a basement, an interior bathroom or closet works. Get in the tub if you can and cover yourself with pillows or blankets. Second, charge all your electronic devices. Fully charge your phone, your tablet, any battery packs you have. If the power goes out, these devices become your lifeline to information and emergency services. Third, gather your emergency supplies in your safe place. This includes a flashlight with fresh batteries, a battery-powered weather radio, sturdy shoes, a helmet if you have one, and any medications you might need. Keep a pair of work gloves handy too, in case you need to clear debris after a storm passes. Fourth, if you have pets, make sure you can quickly get them to your safe place. Practice this. Many pets panic during severe weather. Knowing ahead of time how you will secure them saves precious seconds when warnings are issued. Fifth, secure any loose outdoor items. Patio furniture, trash cans, children's toys. In high winds, these become projectiles that can break windows or injure someone. For those of you in areas expecting heavy snow, your preparation looks different but is equally important. Make sure you have adequate heating fuel. If you heat with propane or oil, check your tank levels now. Stock up on non-perishable foods and bottled water. If power outages occur, you may not be able to cook or access running water, depending on your system. Have at least a 3-day supply. Protect your pipes from freezing. Let faucets drip slightly when temperatures drop significantly below freezing. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warmer air to circulate around pipes. Know where your main water shutoff valve is located in case a pipe does burst. If you must travel during this weather, and I strongly recommend avoiding travel if possible, prepare your vehicle as if you might become stranded. Keep your gas tank at least half full at all times. Pack an emergency kit in your vehicle that includes blankets, a flashlight, jumper cables, a small shovel, sand or cat litter for traction, snacks, water, and a phone charger. Dress in layers. If your car becomes disabled, these items could save your life. Let me talk about winter driving for a moment, because this is where many people get into trouble. Snow and ice reduce your vehicle's traction dramatically. Your stopping distance increases by 3 to 9 times on ice compared to dry pavement. That means if you normally need 100 feet to stop, you might need 300 to 900 feet on ice. Think about that. Most people drastically underestimate how much longer it takes to stop on winter roads. Slow down. Cut your speed by at least 15 to 20 miles per hour below the posted limit in snow. More in icy conditions. Increase your following distance to at least 6 to 8 seconds behind the vehicle in front of you. No sudden movements. No hard braking, no sharp turns, everything smooth and gradual. If you start to slide, resist the urge to slam on the brakes, ease off the gas, and steer gently in the direction you want to go. If visibility becomes poor or roads become treacherous, get off the road. Find a safe place to wait out the worst conditions. It is far better to arrive late than to not arrive at all. No appointment, no meeting, no schedule is worth your life or the lives of others. Now, I want to speak to something that goes beyond just weather preparation. This is about community. Winter storms and severe weather have a way of bringing people together. We check on neighbors, we help dig each other out. We share resources when power goes out. There is something beautiful about that, something that reflects our better nature. Maybe it is shoveling an elderly neighbor's driveway. Maybe it is inviting someone without heat to stay in your warm home. Maybe it is checking in with that single parent down the street who might be worried about keeping their kids safe. These acts of kindness matter. They reflect the character of Christ, who taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves. In 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, Paul writes, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." I am not trying to scare you with all this information. I am trying to equip you. There is a profound difference between fear and wisdom. Fear paralyzes. It makes us anxious and unable to act. Wisdom prepares. It sees potential danger and takes appropriate action while maintaining peace. You have power over your situation through preparation. You have love to share with those around you who may need help. You have a sound mind to make good decisions about your safety and the safety of your family. Let me summarize the key points one more time because this information is critical. Starting tonight, Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, severe weather develops across western Oklahoma and north-central Texas. Thursday afternoon and evening, severe weather expands into northeast Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, with the greatest threat between 6 and 8 p.m. Friday brings the most significant severe weather risk to the lower Mississippi Valley, including southeast Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. Watch for possible tornado outbreak conditions Friday afternoon between 3 and 4 o'clock. Saturday features transition to winter weather with snow across the Great Lakes and Midwest, 4 to 8 inches possible in some locations. Throughout all of this, record-breaking warmth continues through Saturday for much of the eastern United States. Your immediate action items are these. If you are in severe weather zones, review your safety plan and prepare your safe place today. Charge all devices, gather emergency supplies, secure outdoor items. If you are in snow zones, check heating fuel, stock emergency food and water, and protect pipes. Avoid unnecessary travel during peak impact times. Check on neighbors, especially elderly or vulnerable individuals. This is a complex, widespread weather event that will affect millions of Americans over the next several days. But we have the information. We have the warnings. We have the time to prepare. What we do with that time is up to us. In Psalm 46, verse 1, we read, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." This does not mean we sit idly by and do nothing. It means we take action while trusting that we are not alone. We prepare practically while resting spiritually. We use the wisdom and resources God has provided while acknowledging that ultimately we are held in hands greater than our own. I will continue to monitor this situation closely and provide updates as this system develops. The forecast can and will change as we get closer to each event. Make sure you are following reliable local sources for the most up-to-date information specific to your area. Stay alert but not anxious. Be prepared but not panicked. And take care of each other. May God bless you and keep you safe through this weather event. Use wisdom, show love, and trust that we will get through this together.